Tonight on Gravely Amusing, it's the Friday the 13th special part 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gravely Amusing, the only podcast that supports Jack not getting on that door at the end of the Titanic. I mean, she was too clingy, man. Just die. I support it. All right. I am your host, the man-child among monsters, Bryan Peters. This is part 2 of our Friday the 13th special episode. This is dropping at the 13th hour of the day on Friday the 13th to wrap up this beautiful chaos that these episodes are. But now is the real chaos. Earlier, we dropped the first 6 films and our thoughts on it. This is where crap gets crazy. The final 6 films where Jason totally flies off the rails. I don't know what they're thinking. This is going to be such a fun podcast tonight. So let's get to it. Joining me first is Brandon Duxbury, local young artist from the Virginia area, now residing outside Columbus with me and Trey. He is my little brother. He is the only man to defeat Ash Ketchum in arm wrestling.
Damn right I did. Damn right I did.
And he is the only spirit that Goku needs for the spirit bomb.
Absolutely.
Brandon Duxbury, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, buddy.
Are you excited?
I'm super excited. I love these movies.
This is going to be a good one. Now, hailing from, I don't know, I guess the future, the past. I don't know. All I know is that he met some chick in the 1800s and he flew off on a train and had a bunch of kids. I don't know. All of a sudden, he's got a new woman named McKenna. He's living into 2023. I don't know. Mr. Trey, the Doc Brown.
Happy to be back. I am excited to get into part 2 with you boys. Looking forward to it. Have to admit, still working on that degree to get my doctorate.
Better hurry up.
Your degree, Doc. What are you going to do about that degree?
Gotta get back to the future. What are you doing?
And you know what? One day we're gonna do a Back to the Future episode, and it's gonna be epic. So I gotta quit saying I apologize. Okay, and finally, the co-host of the upcoming second podcast from Bryan Peters, and now in Dre Finch, titled BP and the Finch, a superhero podcast that will talk about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anything pop culture that is not horror related, anything that strikes our fancy. It'll be dropping on October 20th, as long as we can get the schedule together. We are busy men. Some of us are fathers. It's just life. But Spider-Man 2 video game drops on October 20th. So we have a special episode from the brain of the mighty Finch. Batman villains versus Spider-Man villains. Who has the better villains? I mean, arguably, Batman has the best villains in the DC universe. Spider-Man has the best villains in the Marvel universe. They're the two greatest heroes of each comic universe. I mean, this is going to be crazy. When Finch pitched this to me, my mind blew, and I had to change my underwear. So it's going to be something really cool. Brandon and Trey are going to be on the Spider-Man side, trying to win the argument that Spider-Man has a better villain.
Right, we're on the winning team, buddy.
What?
Winning team. What?
Dre and I will be representing Batman and his villains out of Arkham Asylum. It's going to be nuts. The name of the game is trying to convince the other ones that Spider-Man has better villains. Maybe we can find a judge. I don't know. Has to be impartial. Maybe we'll pay a homeless person. We'll find a way. So, Dre Finch, everybody.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you. Love you guys.
How could
ready to talk Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th. Speaking of Friday the 13th, Part 7, A New Blood. Am I right? Am I right in that title, Dr.
Yes.
New blood.
Yes.
New blood. New blood. What's up, blood?
What's right, you blood?
Me and Brandon got the red on,
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's in my hair, so it counts for me.
So, it's in my pee. So,
you never get that checked out.
Yeah, that sounds bad, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, maybe I'll get checked.
Maybe you'll see a doctor after this. Who knows?
Hey, Doc Brown, can you help me out?
Of course.
All right,
Doc, I don't know what's going on. There's just blood in my piss.
That's what WebMD's for.
Doc, why's your finger in my ass? Come on, I'm not 40 yet. All right. Part 7 was released May 13th, so Friday the 13th, another one, because that's how you got to market these. Don't be stupid, people. In 1988. The budget was $2.8 million. It made $19.2 million. It is arguably voted the worst Friday the 13th film out of just about all of them. This movie takes place. So the beginning of the movie is like a few months after Jason is buried by Tommy. So I looked this up. I was able to do this research. So because in the prologue, the Jason's in the water. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right, Doc Brown.
You are correct. Okay,
so that takes place a few months later, but then we jump 10 years. So we're in the year 2000, baby. In the year 2000. That's an old Conan O'Brien joke for those old people. All right. So Jason is 54 years old in this dang movie. Like, I'm keeping track of this. I like how old Jason is, because like people were giving the Halloween franchise so much crap because they're like, Michael Myers is like pushing 70 now, but he was a beast, which we'll talk about that later. In my opinion, this is the best looking Jason.
I agree.
Because 6 did have the Batman utility belt for killing.
Yeah, buddy.
This
Don't
one,
forget those bright yellow gloves.
Hey now. He was working in the garden,
cleaning up, cleaning house, cleaning these sex-starved teenagers. But Jason, in my opinion, is the best looking in this one. This is the first movie with Kane Hodder as Jason.
I was going to mention that if you did.
My man, so funny story. When I don't think Finch was with me at that Comic-Con, but Peter Mayhew, the voice of Chewbacca, was at a Steel City Con outside Pittsburgh. And I go there with, you remember Danny Schultz by any chance, Finch? You remember Danny Schultz at all? You're muted, but anyway,
Danny sounds familiar.
Anyway, he was a friend of mine too. Anyway, so I go to this con to meet Chewbacca, and Winston was there from Ghostbusters, basically Trey's biological father, or Dre's biological father. I forgot the joke. Give me, so send me. And Margot Kidder was there. Old Lois Lane, she was there. I met her. But I also met Kane Hodder, the guy who plays Jason here. So I meet Peter Mayhew. Dude is a total dick. I mean, he's passed away, rest in peace. But when he was alive, he was a total a-hole. I'm there with my cousin, who's like 8 years old. He's like, do the Chewbacca roll. Do the roar. And Peter Mayyew's like $20, kid.
Do the roar.
dude. You like your whole career is based on I can't do it. That's
Just pay a
there it
homeless
is.
guy; he'll do it for free.
There we go.
Just pay a homeless guy; he'll do it for free.
No, he won't do it for free. You have to make him a sandwich, a nice ham sandwich. That's what it's about. A little honey mustard on there, he'll do it. He'll probably do other things too. Like clean your house. So
Don't forget if he fixes your car.
tailpipe. So Peter Mayhew told Jerk, I walked past Kane Hodder's table, and he didn't have a whole lot of people there. Meet Kane Hodder. Kane was like the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. Like he had all these like pentagrams and like devil symbols all over his like hands and stuff. Probably worked for Lord Satan, who knows? But he was so nice. Like he did autograph for me. He wrote "You're Next." I have it somewhere in my house. One of the nicest guys ever. Talked to him about horror movies for like a good hour because his line wasn't too busy because people were all like, Peter Mayhew, met Winston from Ghostbusters 2. That dude, class act. I wish him all the success. I can't. My mind's blank. Ernie Hudson's. My apologies. One of the greatest guys. So I rambled. It's my podcast. Sue me.
Do what you want.
Do what I want.
Hey, speaking of You're Next, are you gonna do a review of that as like later down the road?
Of what?
That's a good horror movie. You're Next.
Of the movie You're Next.
Yeah,
I will. Right. Never seen it. Gotta see it.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I have feelings about that movie. We could do an episode.
See, I don't have any kids, and my wife isn't a horror aficionado. So many years I miss stuff because I have no one to see it with. But things change. So in this movie, this movie makes no sense to me in a lot of things, which we'll get into. Tina has an abusive father in the beginning of this movie. The father's like beating the mom, or no, he's like yelling at her or something.
Make me a sandwich.
Make me that ham sandwich with some mustard, bitch. Whatever. And she kills her dad with these telekinetic powers. And 10 years later, she resurrects Jason, trying to bring back her dad from the water. Like, I don't know. It's Jason versus Carrie. It's weird. She has this doctor that doesn't want to like help her, just wants to harness her power. So, and maybe I'm missing something, but was there like a scene, or maybe this was just wishful thinking? Was there a scene when the doctor sees Jason in the woods that the doctor is trying to control Jason, like trying to get Jason to do things, or
I wouldn't say he was trying to control him. The only scene I remember briefly is when Dr. Cruz and Tina's mother are together looking for Tina, and Dr. Cruz is pretty much just like, I'm going to sacrifice you so I can live.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
because what would have made this movie interesting
Doctor
for me? What would have made this movie interesting for me is, as a story guy, is if the doctor planned to bring Tina there all along to resurrect Jason, and then use Tina and Jason as weapons. Like, that could have been interesting. I have a girl with telekinesis. I have a man that can't die. Like, that could have been interesting, since we don't really care about writing a good story anyway. So
Jason meets the X-Men.
Wolverine, eat your heart out.
You took the joke away from me. The next thing I was gonna say was, he finds a dude with ice powers. But yeah, you could have had a dang X-Men. Put friggin' Jason as your Colossus. You already have Jean Grey.
It's meeting up with Wolverine.
Yeah,
it'd be insane.
Machete Claws. So the movie ends, I put that in here, by somehow she does resurrect her dad, from the water, and he's fully clothed. Everything's fine. He's looking good. I mean, not as good as me, but like he pulls her, pulls it down into the water, pulls Jason down, wraps him in chains, pulls him down, and somehow Jason loses his mask. Jason looks pretty darn cool without the mask in this one. Like the makeup job is awesome. Looks creepy. Like it's all weird. And someone finds Jason's mask, but somehow Jason has it and part 8, like no problem. Like so weird. So that's what I have on part 7. Let's break this down. Let's tear it apart, and let's not hold anything back. Brandon.
All right. So I hate this movie so much.
There it is.
Like it would have been my lowest rating if I didn't put all the ones that didn't have Jason at the bottom. This one probably would have been at the bottom. Like you said, first movie of Kane Hodder, one of my favorite Jason actors. He looked really great, but this movie, dude, it's just so bad. Like the plot makes no sense. We just have this random girl with psychic abilities come out of nowhere, and she's crazy. And then you got like the whole final battle where she's like on the lake, and she's like, "Oh, I hate you! I hate you! I wish you would just die! I wish someone would come and help me!" And then her dad just magically pops out of the lake.
Yep.
Like, "Oh, I got you, babe! Don't worry." The movie was just too much. I hated it.
Like who? I mean, the 80s was mostly like everybody just eating cocaine and waffles. But like,
Pretty much.
like what's like, like what the hell? I'm with you, bro. Is there like so the only redeeming quality in your mind is just we got Kane Hodder as
We
a
got Kane Hodder, and we got a badass looking Jason. That's all. That's the only winning points for this movie.
You didn't like Tina like trying to make friends and
Just trying to be a normal girl, man. She's trying to be normal.
finding a boyfriend out of nowhere.
What is this, Barbie? Is this Barbie meets Friday the 13th? What's going on?
I would watch the shit out of that.
Who watches a Jason movie hoping to make friends?
Hey, I don't know. People get lonely. People get lonely. All right. Finch, what do you think, buddy?
I didn't hate this movie. It's not on the bottom of my list, you know. I mean, it's lower, but I like the idea of bringing in a chick with like telekinesis. You know what I mean? Like it sets the standard going forward, I guess, for the Jason movies, which to some are controversial and other issues, but I don't know. I thought, it's like trying to mix those horror genres of like how we got, like you called her Carrie, like Jason versus Carrie. Eventually we get Jason versus Freddy. Eventually we get, you know what I mean? So I like that idea. And, the kill that she does to him at the end where she like tries to set the place on fire and stuff, like it made me laugh. So it probably shouldn't have, that's probably not a plus, like making you laugh. But I don't know. And there was some good kills in the one where I think he baits a chick on the tree. Like he kills somebody.
Sleeping bag, man. You got it.
That is one of my favorite kills. Yeah. That's one of my favorite kills. Yeah.
So I mean, this movie's not horrible, but it's pretty bad.
Or what about the one when she tries to hang Jason from the ceiling fan? What was up with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some of the stuff wasn't bad. Like they got creative, So I don't know.
But you do know.
You do know because you watched it. Exactly.
I never know.
You know how you feel, buddy. Just share your feelings.
Okay, my feelings is it's not that bad of a movie.
Take it.
Well, I can't wait to see your ranking.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, I will say, apparently on the rankings, I totally forgot this movie. Like I mixed up 5, and I put 5 as new blood.
Yep.
And then
Blood's Awakening. I don't know what you put.
Yeah, I mixed them together. And then on my rankings, I literally had there's 11 movies. That's it. And I was like, I went back through it, and then Brian's like, there's 12, and I'm like, no, there's only 11. And I listed them out, and it's because a bunch of them don't have the number,
Right.
So So when you get to like Jason Goes to Hell, Jason Goes, it's like, what's number 9, 10, 11, So
Right.
It's you wanted to forget one of them, 5 or 7, and I was just like, pick one, pick which one you want to forget. So Dr. Brown,
All right.
our research specialist,
Personally, to me, I don't think this movie is as bad as everyone, claims it to be.
as others, yes,
It is a unique take.
Go.
But originally, this movie was supposed to be a Freddy vs. Jason film. This was going to be the first Freddy vs. Jason film. However, Paramount and New Line Cinema, they were trying to work out a deal to get the film going and stuff like that. But New Line Cinema kind of wanted to take more control over, Jason's character, and Paramount was like, no, we don't want that. So they kind of scrapped it early. So, I mean, eventually we get that film, but this would have been that first Freddy vs. Jason film. But obviously, things went
Well, I'm
south.
glad this one didn't turn to Freddy versus Jason, because Freddy
Yep.
versus Jason was pretty good.
Yep. But the whole, Jason versus Carrie thing, it was a last minute pitch. A lot of people don't know that either. It's last minute pitch. And the whole reason they went with this pitch was because, for one, they were running out of ideas. And two, they decided, how cool would it be? Because if we bring Jason back in another film, obviously at this point, let's go ahead and declare it. He's supernatural. He is a zombie. He is not mortal anymore. No normal weapons are going to harm this guy. So at this point, it's like, why not get a telekinetic, character, some other character that has special ability? Why not? That'll be a great matchup. Supernatural versus supernatural. So it's an interesting take on the story. It has redeeming qualities. For instance, we get the iconic Kane Hodder. He gets the signature walk, the signature movements. The look of Jason is menacing. It's great. I have to agree with you guys. It's flawless look. Jason's even got some blingage, man. He's got that chain around his neck. It's not a bad film. It's not as bad as people claim it to be. There are some redeemable qualities. But Brian, to your point last night, there's a good Jason film and then there's a good story film for these movies. I would say this is probably more of a better Jason film than it is a story film. Like I said, arguably Kane Hodder, the best Jason we've ever seen. Story wise, it's off the wall. It's unique. It just falls short, unfortunately. So, but overall, I didn't think it was terrible. Could it have been better? Absolutely. But Brian, I do like your idea of, getting the doctor to come in and just say like, hey man, I could have 2, characters that are just unstoppable. That could have been a great, film, a great, storyline. But
not everybody can write.
Yep.
Not everybody has the great creative mind that is Bryan Peters.
Now, did you guys know that this film had set the record for the longest fire stunt coordinated in Hollywood for the time being?
No.
Kane Hodder was set on fire for, I think, a total of 40 to 44 seconds. It was the longest stunt that involved someone being on fire in Hollywood history. So they broke that. Kane Hodder was completely gouged in fire. It wasn't fake. It was legit. But it's pretty cool. So,
oh my,
oh my,
Finch sounded better there. Wow. So my thoughts on this, I think that doctor kind of like wanted to manipulate and kind of make weapons. I think that sounds cool. I don't think this is the worst one, because I am intrigued by, if the first 4 movies is Jason with human ability and Tommy is his antagonist, and then we go into 6 where Jason is now supernatural. To bring in a supernatural element to fight a supernatural element, it can work if you do it right, if you care about what you're writing. And I talk about this in the episodes with the Universal Monsters. Like these movie studios, when it still works today. It's still the same thing today. They get this great idea. Maybe they steal it from a book, or they get a great writer and he writes the first one, and then it's just, this was great. Let's milk it for all it's worth. As long as that name's connected to it, it doesn't matter what the heck we write. Tyler and I, we joke about this all the time, that like if someone could write a movie called Velocipaster and
Oh
get
dear Lord. Oh
we,
no, I can't believe you just brought that up.
we will review that one day.
Oh.
But if someone can write that and make money off of it, then why the heck can't we make money? Like, come on. And another thing, that Tyler said that sticks with me talking about horror movies is Tyler said that horror movies always start out with horror. Like they always start out scary and good and stuff. Usually with the franchises, but eventually that horror almost has to change to comedy. Almost has to. Like I think only The Conjuring might be successful in this to keep it horror, to keep it really strict horror, to my knowledge.
Well, I agree.
But everything else, like, as a comedy side, and I don't know why. I don't know really why it started. I mean, it definitely started in the 30s with Universal Monsters, because like in my Mummy episode, I mentioned Boris Karloff's Mummy. That movie is pretty much essentially straight horror, essentially. But the sequel, they add a lot of humor, and I don't know. That's a thesis I could write on myself, but I don't think this movie is horrible. It's bad in a lot of aspects, but Kane Hodder totally the saving grace. So, moving on here to a very controversial Jason movie. Not the most controversial, but this one sticks with people. So, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Uh, in my mind, it's the most iconic Jason film, because I was 3 years old when I was barely three, but like Batman was coming out. So I remember being a kid, like seeing the Batman images of the summer, but I remember these images of Jason and like the I Love New York sign. And like I remember growing up with that, like, and having that imagery in my head. So, and growing up, New York was where everything happened, and still in my mind, I would love to live outside New York, because that's where all the crap happens. I never been to LA. I will one day and visit Finch. Out in California, even though he's near San Francisco. Um, one day, but the concept of a killer Jason lost in New York is an amazing concept. Like, sign me up. Like, this is something awesome. And they took that idea and put it into Scream 6. Scream 6 was awesome. The idea of, let's take him out of the lake. Everybody's seen him in the lake, knows how he is. But in New York people don't give a crap. He could go in there and just go slash everybody up, and people will just eat their pizza and be like, "Oh, it's Friday." No one cares. So I remember this the most. This came out July 28th, 1989. The budget was 5.1 million. It made 14.3 million. This movie takes place in the timeline in 2002. So even this movie came out in 1989. If you're going through the time, because this takes place just a few months after the end of Seven. And if Seven started in 1990 with Jason still in the pool after Tommy, buried him, and we get that 10-year time jump from 90 to 2000 because of the 10 years, or 2001. This is in 2002. Yeah, yeah. I looked it up. Jason's 56 years old here. This is like a year after the end of Seven. I apologize. It's almost like right after. The whole movie takes place on a boat. You only get Manhattan in the last 40 minutes. You get Jason knocking over a boombox. That's a funny scene. I thought that was cool.
That scene.
But overall, this movie's pretty dang bad. So, Brandon, like the good, the bad, the ugly, hit me. Jason Takes Manhattan. Go.
So Jason Takes Manhattan, in my opinion, was a really good Jason movie. Story wise, makes no damn sense. Because the movie starts, you got Jason in the bottom of the lake. Now he's all chained up the way Tommy left him. So it makes you think. So what happened?
Well, you got to remember at the end of Seven, Tina's dad put him back in chains
But he
at the
puts
end.
him back in the exact same spot, chained up the exact
Not
same
not
way.
the exact same
Yes,
spot.
he was.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it was.
Okay.
He moved him just a little.
Yeah,
just a
Just
little-
just
just a
Perfect.
smidge.
couple inches.
Okay,
Yeah.
couple frames to the left. Okay,
To the left, to the left.
it's one of my it's in my top 5. I love this Jason movie. It's like I said, it's a Jason movie.
That New York imagery probably did
you
you in.
got the New York. I mean, I love the scene with the one kid who's freaking boxing Jason on the top of the building. Like that was a good scene. Then you got the boombox scene. That was really funny.
The funniest part of that scene, Brandon, is when the kids want to fight him over that boombox.
Yeah.
And he lift up his mask and they're like, "Oh, it's so
Like,
good,
where
man."
you going? And Jason just turns around. I'm walking here.
No, he lifts up the mask and he lifts up his mask and they're like, "Oh, it's all good, man."
that was good.
Walking here.
Then there was that one weird scene with the Ninja Turtle ooze. You guys remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was good. It had a weird ending. The ending didn't make sense. Like,
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
Jason chases him down into the sewers, and he's about to kill him, and then all of a sudden, like, the sewer flood opens up and rushes all this water on him, and then after it like drains out, you got Jason laying there as a kid. Just didn't make sense to me. And then they just crawl out of the sewer and they go home. So my question is, how the hell does Jason get back to Crystal Lake for the next movie? That's my big question.
Hey, yeah, preach. I'm with you. But
We're not going to talk about how he gets back and he's a full-grown adult again.
Exactly. Like, he turns back into a kid into that one.
we are.
They just leave him in the sewer.
Yeah. All right, Finch.
Yeah, this movie's ranked kind of low on my list, I think. I mean, it's called Jason Takes Manhattan, filmed in Vancouver, stuck on a boat for 98% of the movie.
Yep.
It's got a lot of problems, but the idea is there. The idea is great. Jason in New York, that sounds like it'd be great. Yeah, I do like
sounds like it, but it doesn't look like it.
The black dude on the roof trying to box Jason, and he's working. He's giving him that work, but Jason's just like boom, knocks his head right off. You know what I mean? I like the kill on the.
He did not go to the Busta Rhymes school
of martial arts.
Yeah.
I like the kill with the guitar. Some of the kills on the boat are actually pretty cool. But this movie is very misleading. We'll say that.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Anything else, my man? All right,
that's it.
What are you munching on?
Pretzels, man.
Pretzels. Beer and pizza. Night 2. Pretzels and beer. Man, I just need to come to your house, just eat snacks. All right, Dr. Brown, lay it on us.
Well, again, this is one of those films that's down with the supernatural. So, they're trying to change up the formula. I mean, they're staying with the supernatural, but there are some redeemable moments in this film, just like the last one. A lot of the kills are good. Again, we have Kane Hodder reprising his role. So we get the original, we finally, get the movement of Jason that people love. One thing I will nitpick about this, Bryan, I know you're keeping track of his age and stuff like this. But at this point, does it matter? I mean, he's a full-blown zombie. I mean, age means nothing at this point for this guy. He is undead. And on top of that, with him being undead, I don't like, this is the only nitpick I have about Jason in this film. Why does he breathe so heavily? You are a walking corpse. Why are you breathing so heavily, man? You should just be
Maybe he has freaking asthma, you a-hole.
asthma.
And this is where his age does matter. Man. The dude has been dead for a while, but the dude is 56 years old.
He's catching his breath.
56 years old, bro.
He does a lot of walking in that movie, bro. He's probably walking all around New York.
Fair point. Maybe he gets seasick. That's why he's breathing so hard. Finally, he gets he's getting on the land. He's like, oh. Maybe.
He's like, I should have left Crystal Lake, bro.
He's 56. He's got sides of his body just like disappearing, bones showing. He's got freaking half his face is gone. He got a machete in the jugular years ago.
Yep.
He's 56 years old and he's a freaking virgin.
Yeah, dude.
This is true. There's a lot going. There's a lot going through his mind. It's tough. But remember from last episode, Jason's out here doing God's work. All right, guys. So he's got to continue to be the saint.
Right.
So
he's like, if I gotta live with blue balls, so do you.
But I think, like, again, there's redeemable qualities to this film. I do wish that New York would have let Paramount keep the original marketing campaign for this film, because the original marketing was they were making T-shirts with the classic "I love New York" with the heart and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when they were doing this, it was the Jason loves New York, and then the city of New York actually frowned upon that and began to file a lawsuit against Paramount. And then Paramount was like, all right, we're done. That marketing's gone. So it's pulled. That does suck. The whole boxing scene on the rooftop. Originally, that was scripted to be in Madison Square Garden. But again, couldn't afford it because they wanted so much freaking money. Like, come on, New York, man. This is ridiculous.
I don't think it would have worked out, though.
What's that?
I don't think it would have worked out, though.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, you see a lot of scenes where he's just walking down the streets of New York and nobody pays a bit of attention. He goes through a diner, for crying out loud, and nobody bats an eye. It's just like, oh, there's a walking corpse. But this is New York, you see all kinds of crazy things.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
I'm walking in.
But get your sign box, Jason.
Get your fucking
man, this guy stinks.
But the ending, again, like you guys are talking about, that ending, so weird. Like, why? It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I will say this. I would prefer this script over the original scripts that were being wrote up for this sequel. Because, Brandon, I'm going to give you the bad news here. This film was going to be a direct sequel to Part 7. They were going to bring Tina's character back. They were going to bring her back to
Why would it have been so bad if they kept her, though?
Well,
I think one of the main problems with 7 was that she was a throwaway character.
Yeah, but here's the issue, though. I mean, the way they wrote her up originally for the sequel was that, she's a nut job. She's in an insane asylum.
He's right.
And then they're saying,
that probably could have worked.
They're both right.
But get this. They're saying in the next film that she would have been a psychologist, and then Nick, the boyfriend, in a sense for her, he would have been the new killer. So then at this point, they were kind of cutting Jason out, and it was like,
Here we go with part 5 all over again.
Yeah,
Here
pretty
we go.
much,
Good
pretty
work.
much.
Man,
But
this script stinks.
yeah, pretty much. So I'm
Yeah,
glad
this
that
script stinks.
I'm glad that we got this film rather than the scripts they had been discussing. But again, it's not a high ranked one for me. But hey, we could have gotten a lot worse.
Wait till you see my ranking.
Exactly. But we could have gotten a lot worse, like the future films we're about to discuss. So
Okay. All I have to say about this movie is this movie is a lot. This false advertising. You know, we
Mhm.
wanted to fake Manhattan. He didn't even take it to dinner. Like he didn't even get flowers. You know, he didn't take nothing. He's still a virgin, so he didn't take her.
he got a nice stroll.
Yeah. I'm
But
watching it.
but I think what hurts this movie so much is these images of Jason as a child, and like there's no consistency on who's seeing these images, why they're seeing these images, like what the heck's going on here. So like if they would have, I almost think that they had that idea because of Tina, as they were going to have her back, because with her psychic abilities, like that's why people are seeing images of Jason as a kid. It didn't make sense. And each time Jason looked different, it didn't work. It looked stupid. And then when this I forget her name. Whenever who gives a crap? The redhead that's in that's in there.
Watching for Jason.
She almost gets freaking raped, and these dudes like inject her with like meth.
Oh, you're
And
talking
like
about Rennie. I think that was her name.
Rennie,
Yeah.
Rennie, whatever, raining down my leg, whatever.
Not a good joke. If you just said she almost got raped.
Well, I mean, she almost,
Yeah, I mean that's what was happening.
they were going to rape her and they inject her with drugs and stuff. Jason saved her, so you're welcome. But then Jason wanted to kill her, whatever. But if she would have saw these images, after getting the drugs, it would have been weird. And the way the movie ends with the toxic waste and like then Jason's child again, and I guess it was a vision that they saw. Like Jason wasn't really turned into a child, but it's just what they saw. But what bothers me is the dude apparently sees it too. Like it's
Oh,
images
they both do on the ladder.
which
Yeah,
is
they all
like,
see it.
does he
Yep.
turn to a kid because of toxic waste? It's just a stupid ending. It's bad. And we're going to move on to one of the greatest films of our time. So that is Jason Takes Manhattan. The kill count for Jason 7 was.
You want our guesses, or are you just telling us?
I thought I had my notes here. Oh no, here it is. So Jason the New Blood had 15 kills.
I was off by one. Darn.
Anybody want to guess what Take Manhattan had?
I don't
42.
think it had many. It didn't have many. I think it
42.
only probably had like
42.
9.
Well,
20.
here's why I say 42. There are a lot of kids on that boat. We don't know if that boat explodes or sinks. I mean, we really don't know. I mean, they're jumping ship, so it's it did explode. So I mean, there was a lot of people left on that boat. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's fair. They say 17.
17. Jeez.
Yes. Friday. Maybe we didn't have this. Friday the 13th, Part 6 had 18 kills.
Mhm.
So I don't think we talked about that. A new
Kills are going up and up.
Part 5. I don't think we said it either. Part 5 had 19.
really, I thought it was 22.
Nope.
I'll be darned.
And, I'm surprised. You might be surprised who had number 1 spot in kills, but we'll get to that. Okay, so yeah, I'm so sorry. I missed my note there. Okay, so the next movie, The Final Friday, the first movie with New Line Cinema taking over, but it's The Final Friday. Like, way to get a deal. Hey, we're just gonna end them right here. But it's Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. So much to say about this movie. So much to say. This movie takes place in 2003. all of a sudden, Jason has a sister. Not only has a sister, he has a niece. All of a sudden, he's adult again. I think he kind of looks cool. Kinda,
Hated it.
He's a
kinda.
very buff. Like he looked like he'd been hitting the weights.
He's very beefy. I mean, Tim's playing him. That opening scene is kind of solid. Kind of. But then they shoot him to crap.
FBI.
Like, it's so over the top. This movie accepts what it is. It's so over the top. It's so campy. It's so weird. Jason somehow becomes a deadite. He has some weird parasite in him. It's the first new line cinema film, and it is trash. Brandon, go ahead.
And not to mention the Jason, like his costume was ugly, dude. Like, did you guys see how ugly he was? Like his mask was he barely had a mask. Like,
It was
all
swollen. It
burned
was like
up
his.
and, like fused to his
Jason.
face. Like this Jason was ugly.
Yeah, like his hair returned.
Yeah, and then like he had
right,
strands of hair going down his back. It was gross, dude.
He almost made me think of like a Great Value brand Bane that's gone wrong.
Oh, you had to be hurting on my vein.
I mean, he's buff, dude. Like he's too buff, and then it's just.
Can you save the Bane trash talk for the Spider-Man versus Batman?
Okay.
Dude, look at that face. Look at that beautiful face without the mask.
That is fan art. That is not his face in the film. No, it doesn't.
Once again, the fan art, man. Use images from the movie.
Brandon kills me. He's like, hey guys, look at this authentic picture of Jason. It's a fan art that a freaking kid did.
Like, hey, it looks good though. I gotta give credit.
Hold on, guys. I got the real deal. It's an action figure. Like,
this guy.
No, you killed me.
This movie was not my favorite. This is actually on my list also. This one only has Jason in it for like a total of like 15 minutes.
The actual Jason.
Yeah, like actual Jason, we get like 15 minutes, and then out of nowhere, this guy just like he gets the urge to pick up his brain and just chow down. Like that was weird for me.
His heart.
No, it was his heart. He's like, yo, that's a tasty heart.
Yeah,
he just picks up the heart and starts eating it.
It was calling to him, man.
And then just keep going, and it's stupid. I didn't like that he just randomly had a sister out of nowhere. Like, we have no mention of family after Pamela in the entire series, and then here comes the one and only, like the chosen one to stop Jason once and for all. It's just stupid.
Anything else?
Anything else? The only saving grace was that really cool part at the end when Jason gets dragged down into hell and all that's left is his mask. And then
Do you know who?
I was gonna
say, there you go. Don't forget it.
That was my favorite part of the entire movie. That was it. That movie sucked.
Figgity Finch.
Yo. So, my notes, I like the Deadite idea. I like the evil transfer aspect. I know you're talking about him chowing on the heart. I like that idea. I think I've mentioned it before. I always like that, and Halloween Kills tried it. They didn't execute it properly. We'll get into that in another thing. But I like that aspect of like evil lives on or evil continues, or you know what I mean? So I like that. And I like that bounty hunter dude. It's kind of cool they introduced
Creighton Duke, baby.
Yeah, they introduced the idea of somebody who thinks that they could take on Jason, but also, has like a history and knowledge of Jason, and is able to tell people like, hey, like, you can only kill him this way, or you can't kill him. You got to do, you know what I mean? Like somebody who was able to educate people and help them survive against Jason or whatever. I don't know.
He was
Also,
a character.
okay. What's up?
Well, I say he was a cool character, but then again, they throw him away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Why didn't they bring him back from Freddy versus Jason? Like, why was he the guy that helps them figure out how to stop Freddy and kill Jason? They come up with these cool characters and then just throw them away.
Didn't he get killed? Like,
I don't
Yeah,
think
he
does.
gets murdered towards the end of the film.
it's kind of hard to bring back a dead person unless you're Jason.
Jason comes back. Like, clearly, death doesn't matter in this world.
Yeah. But yeah, they definitely ripped off like Halloween, trying to introduce a family aspect of someone who's the only one that can take him out with a specific knife. And I don't know. I know that there's a comic of like Ash versus Jason versus
Freddy.
I feel like that turned into a movie would be pretty sick. But and that's it for me. Go ahead.
All right, Dr. Brown.
So
That's everything there is to know.
This film to me, looking back on it, it rethinking it now that Dre's brought it to my attention, story, there is potential. There was potential. Now, in my eyes, the reason I think there was potential was because, yeah, let's face it, they're ripping off a little bit of Halloween. Let's bring in a family. Let's get this tied in. Here's where I think it would have been interesting. The sister part is fine with me, but in my mind, how I would look at it, let's make her a half sister, because let's face it, we still don't know anything about Elias.
Was there any clarification whether she was a real official sister or a half sister?
I don't think we ever had any clarification. So, but I like the idea of bringing in family, but I would have rather had Elias Voorhees in it.
She's the half sister.
Okay, awesome.
Her mother was Jessica Kimball.
Who was it?
Just says Diana Kimball was Jason Voorhees' half sister and the mother of Jessica Kimball. Diana, a longtime employee at Joey B's Diner, was killed by her own half brother in 1993 before her corpse was used to give her new life to this body.
I gotcha. But I mean, I think it would have been a neat idea. Like I said, if they would have brought Elias in, we don't know anything about him. All we know is that, apparently from comic novels and stories and stuff like that he is just a man of pure evil. So it would have been nice to have, Papa Voorhees in this, in my opinion. I do like the idea of, evil moving on and carrying out, whether it's through Jason Voorhees or to the next person. But in the end, it's Jason Voorhees because, I mean, he's pure evil. He is the son of evil in a sense because of Elias. But I think it would have been good. But overall, the way they did it, let's face it, it doesn't even come close to falling short. It didn't even lift off the ground. For me, it's not a good one. Again, potential, but just didn't do anything for me. The only redeemable thing for this film, in my opinion, Brandon's already said it, the ending. We finally see the mashup that people have been wanting. We're finally getting a glimpse of it's happening. We don't know when, but we know it's going to happen. So, the Freddy and Jason matchup is going to happen. So that is the only redeemable quality, in my opinion, of this film. With the exception of Creighton Duke as well. So, I mean, he's cool. Let's face it. I mean, he's a bounty hunter, and he's just like, I'm going to do it all, man. In the end, meets his demise.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, Brian, but does anybody else's brain, like, when people are talking, just automatically meme? So when he says evil, I immediately think Mermaid Man, evil!
Yeah.
Evil!
We got to get a sound.
Oh, he cut out a clip.
Yeah.
You got to get some clips, man. Yep. Some just to throw them in every once in a while. I don't know. My brain just automatically just starts memeing stuff.
No, I think that only happens to psychopaths. Okay,
Whoa.
Whoa.
your midlife crisis coming up. Once again, I disavow any knowledge of the anger that is in
Timestamp it. Timestamp it.
Well, my first kill might be in
10:04
in
p.m.
Ohio.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Looking at the first one right there.
All right, time to
No,
go.
no, I got some people for you.
Take a trip to
Get little
Virginia for a weekend.
appetizers.
Yeah. I'll come back later.
What'd you say, Brandon?
Man, I was making a joke.
What'd you say?
He said he said his first kill is going to be in Ohio. I said, okay, I'll take a trip to Virginia for a weekend.
Hey. No, man. Your PTO's used to play Spider-Man, so. All right. I think there are good things in this movie. I think there are. I think Duke is a worthy adversary. Absolutely. I love the idea of a bounty hunter, like kind of like the other side of the coin of Jason. Like Jason just hunts people and kills them. Clayton hunts them because they did kill people or whatever. I think Clayton is a fantastic new protagonist. I really do. I think there's so much potential. He to me, he's like an older Dre. You know, like he's got smooth. He's smooth. He's got style. You know, he's got a swagger to him. He can whoop your ass.
Careful,
You know,
he'll break your fingers.
Exactly. That scene with that douchebag letting Duke break his fingers. That was a cool scene. I like that arrogance of him, like trying to test the dude. The transfer of evil thing. Like another thing about this movie is there's aspects in this movie I almost feel like you needed another movie. You needed another movie before this to establish the mythology of what the hell this dagger is. That Jason has a sister, that Jason has a niece, even that Clayton Duke wants to track him down. You know, to get Clay. Is his first name Clayton? Did I say that right?
Creighton.
Whatever, Duke. That Duke wants to take him down. You establish the mythology that Jason can transfer into another body. Like you need to establish all this mythology, but they jam it all in this. They want to make Jason a deadite. We get this crazy scene where this like demon comes out of like the Jason's fake body and crawling around the ground. Trey's playing with his dog here. It's like such a distraction because I love doggies. But
Finn says hello.
Speaking of memes popping into your head, when his dog popped up, all I could think was of that one meme where it's like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, there we go. There's the
Now
meme.
kiss.
With Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he's like, now kiss.
Just a happy dog.
Just a happy dog.
All right, so I feel like there's so much mythology they jam pack in this, and it doesn't work because there's no established mythology. There's no story here that I feel like you're missing so much. And Jason being dragged down to hell, that's the best part. To move on to something new. It's so much. They know what they're doing. It's like they were trying to do so much, and it's like let's just hit this out of the park. Let's throw darts, whatever. It's stupid. So now we're going on to some good work.
Good old Jason
Okay,
flicks.
so what's that?
Time for the good old Jason flicks.
So next in release order.
Hold on, what's the kill count, bro?
I don't have it.
I had a
I will
24.
get it. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Price is Right.
Jason Goes to
25.
Hell. Jason Goes to Hell has the highest kill count with 25.
Ha Price is Right.
I see it says 24, but then it says there's like 3 non-counted deaths.
Yep, that's what I found.
We're looking at the same place.
Yeah, we are.
On the closing chapter, what we see. Okay, the total kill count between all Friday the 13th movies. Yeah, with Jason. Oh, well, we'll get that in a second. But yeah, kill count with that was about 25. Okay, so chronologically, like release order, Jason 10 does come before this Freddy versus Jason, but chronologically, Freddy versus Jason, it happens just a couple weeks later, and we're in 2003, whatever.
Messing up the timeline again.
Messing with the timeline. Freddy vs. Jason was released August 15, 2003, and that is the last of my notes that I can put together before these movies came out. So let me delete this tab here so that I'm not lost here. Freddy vs. Jason came out August 15, 2003, and it's, let me see here. It budget was $30 million. It made $116.6 million. I think it was the highest grossing one that they made. So before this movie came out, I watched all the Freddy movies before that. So Freddy was kind of fresh in my mind of where he's going there, because you get a birthing of franchise, you get a crossover. What?
Are we skipping Jason X?
No, that we're talking that next. Chronologically, I'm a chronological thinker. Where you been? Freddy vs. Jason takes place like right after Jason Goes to Hell. The movie starts out like Freddy pulls him down, and Jason 10 is not canon. So,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But anyway, it happens right after. So I'm just moving along into it. It makes sense that Freddy vs. Jason is next.
Can we clarify which one is 10?
Jason X.
Jason X is
Number
10,
what?
10.
I know. I'm just saying, for the listeners, maybe.
X gonna give it to you.
The 10th movie in chronological order is Freddy vs. Jason. The 10th movie release order is Jason X. The X for 10. And it did, but storyline, it's totally somewhere else. So Freddy vs. Jason, the whole plot of this movie, this is where basically a lot of CW people start showing up from CW shows. You have Kate Cassidy, who plays Black Canary. Laurel from Arrow is your main character in this movie. Well, for a little bit, she's in there a little bit. You have Kelly Rowland. She's looking for Nellie. Yeah, Kate Cassidy's in this movie, man, for a little bit, for a good chunk of the first half. You got
I gotta relook at this. I don't think so.
Kate Cassidy, bro. Yes, she is.
What's her what? Who does she play?
She plays the blonde chick that eventually dies. She's like your main character, but then
Monica Keena as Laurie Campbell.
Wait, is Kate Cassidy in? Maybe I'm messing this up. Is Kate Cassidy in the Nightmare on Elm Street?
Probably.
I screw up, guys. I make mistakes. I don't have my. I didn't put my notes.
Are you talking about the remake Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, I guess that's what I threw out in my head. I'm sorry. So Freddy vs. Jason
franchise, buddy.
I'm sorry. Freddy vs. Jason. The whole plot is that people are forgetting Freddy. So Freddy cannot enter the real world. So somehow he has the ability to resurrect Jason from the dead, even though he can't resurrect himself from the dead. That didn't make sense. But it
does make sense, though. It does make sense.
Why?
Freddy didn't have the strength. All he had to do was kickstart Jason's heart versus using his own powers to bring himself back. Because Jason's an immortal being. So all he had to do was kickstart Jason's heart for Jason to come back.
Bryan, just go.
Are you giving a shout out to Motley Crue?
Kind of, pretty much, but yeah. Yeah, so Jason
Bryan, just go into it.
So Jason is an undead being. We've seen him come back from a lot less. So yeah, it makes sense that Freddy's able to kickstart Jason's heart and causes Jason to come back to life. And he makes him believe that he's his mom, because that's what Freddy does. Freddy messes with your head. So, we got that whole opening scene where Jason's having a dream and Freddy pretends to be his mom, and he's like, you gotta go to Elm Street. The people have been very naughty on Elm Street. So he kickstarts Jason's heart. Jason goes to Elm Street, and Jason starts doing what he does. He starts killing people. Well, that's enough to strike fear into the people of Elm Street because you got some random guy going around killing people. They're automatically going to think, "Holy crap, Freddy Krueger's back! This is insane. Freddy's back," and that's enough to give Freddy his powers. And he mentions it plenty of times in the movie, like that that really cool kill where the kid's like dreaming and he's in the street and Freddy's standing at the end of the street and like his shadow comes up, it's like flash around. That really cool dream, and the guy's like, "Oh crap, I'm okay. It didn't hurt." And Freddy's like, "Oh, I'm not strong enough yet," you know. So Freddy feeds off fear, and that's what Jason's doing. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is like one of my favorite movies.
I was gonna say, man, this guy is passionate about this movie.
Freddy versus Jason is like one of my absolute favorite movies. It's got my two favorite slashers in it. Like I was upset that Kane Hodder wasn't the Jason for this movie, but the guy that they got to play him did a really good job. This is like my favorite Jason design. He's got the iconic hockey mask. He's got they upgraded him. He's not in his jumpsuit anymore. He's wearing that black grungy jacket with the ripped up shirt. Looks real cool.
He's looking great.
Jason looked really great. They brought Freddy back. We got Robert Englund as Freddy. We got it. We got everything we could love. And I mean, there were some really great scenes. There was Freddy did have a lot of the better kills though. You guys remember the
top
pinball?
villain.
Yeah, top villain. Dude, remember the pinball scene? I loved that. He's like, "Oh, you gotta keep running the back." He's like, "Ding, ding, 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 ding." that movie had a lot of great kills. And then finally we get to the end when Jason's back at Camp Crystal Lake and she realizes how she's going to get Freddy into the real world. And those two are in that burning cabin and they lock eyes for the very first time. You just see Freddy's face. He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, it's about to be bad. You just see the fear in his eyes. And it was great.
What did I do? When did I awake?
Yeah, he's like, "What did I do? I clearly pissed this guy off." And Jason's just ready, dude. This was one of my favorite movies.
Love it.
So
Love
Brandon,
it.
Brandon,
So
real quick.
Bad about it?
Oh, go ahead.
What's bad about it?
Bad? Honestly,
Nothing.
there wasn't much I could say bad about this movie, dude. Like
that's a
Some of the
correct.
graphics don't hold up as well, you know. No.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it credit. It came out 2003, but I mean, it's still a really good movie in my opinion.
So Brandon, going back to Kane Hodder, he wanted to come back, but the director Ronnie Yu, when he stepped in the director's chair, he pretty much, not quoted, but he pretty much said Kane Hodder was not the menacing size to be Jason. So Kane Hodder had no idea why he wasn't casted. But it's been, rumored that the director Ronnie Yu he didn't think Kane Hodder was built for the role. He said he was too small, even though Kane Hodder was 6'2", and Ken Kurzinger, who played Jason, was 6'5", so not much of a difference. But anyways,
Right.
Stupid. Dre. Lay it on me.
For me, this movie it hits me in the nostalgia feels. I really enjoyed this movie too. Hold on, let me see my notes. Did
we see this movie together? I want to think we did. I want to think we did.
I feel like we might have. I mean, 2003. We were in 10th grade. Yeah. Let me see what I have. Nostalgia, the sleeping bag scene. Oh, the shit. Sorry, that's what I want. Nostalgia, Freddy when he says when he's very racist. He says,
Well, you can say it. It's okay because you're the one saying it.
he says, dark meat.
Yeah.
And then I seen was it Kumar Nanjiani? Like he talks about it in one of his stand-ups. Like he's like, "Oh, Freddie killing kids, we're fine with it. Freddie being racist, wow." So, but that's one of my favorite things. Jason has some really good kills in this one. I love when he just like splits the bed, like just like crushes
Yeah, that was
dude
wild.
right in the intro. Um, yeah, man, just that whole aspect of like our childhoods coming together. This is why I know a lot of people hate Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman, yeah, it's maybe not the greatest movie, but seeing some of my favorite superheroes interact on screen, you know what I mean? And getting to see two big ass badass slasher dudes come together, is like supposed to be a team up, but then they obviously fight. I don't know, man. I really enjoy this movie. Like I said, some of the graphics don't hold up so well. Like Freddy becoming a giant like worm or something like that.
That part was
Like a
fun.
slug. It's funny because the dude's
Stay
getting
away from the
stuck.
bong, kids.
Dude just getting
But-
high. He's like, what?
But the CGI is kind of bad. I mean, the CGI is not as bad though as Jason X. Jason X's CGI is horrible. But no, I mean, and yeah, I really like this movie. There's clearly a lot of people that we know, like they grew up and became like better actors and stuff, like the cop sheriff dude, So
Yeah, that movie had a really good cast.
yeah, agreed.
Dr. Brown.
What to say about Freddy versus Jason? What to say? For me, I think it's
We have to work tomorrow. So
yep. For me, I
Can't
think
go Back to the Future like you can, buddy. Come on.
I think it solidifies the slasher genre even more back in 2003. How many films did we get where we get two iconic slashers meet and team up a little bit and then have a final brawl? There wasn't really a whole lot of films that did that before. And then this kind of set the tone for, future films and all that stuff. I'm going to be short with it. I think it was a great film. I think the story was pretty good. It blows my mind that when this movie was being produced, of how many scripts they had received for this film. There were so many because people just wanted it. I mean, people just wanted their script to be
a lot of
in
scripts
it.
for this movie.
Yep. But I think it's a great film. I really have no complaints other than, we didn't get a sequel, and we really don't get a clear a winner.
No, absolutely.
The director Ronnie Yu, however, has been quoted to say that Freddy has won because in his eyes, he says that when the camera pans over of Jason coming out of the lake out of Crystal Lake and holding Freddy's head, and when Freddy winks, Ronnie Yu has been quoted to say, "Well, Freddy won because it's a dream. He's in the dream world. He's tormenting Jason into believing that he won." And it's like, yeah. I mean, obviously, fans are going to be torn. Freddy fans are going to
He
say,
winks at the end. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Yeah, he does wink at the end.
Yep. But Freddy fans, they're going to say he won, and Jason fans are going to say he won. But let's face it, I don't think we really did get a clear winner.
Well, we definitely need a clear winner.
That kind of did disappoint me. I am going to be biased. I really wish Jason would have had the ultimate victory. But I thought it was a good film. Really, no complaints about it. Dre, you do make a great point. It doesn't hold up very well today compared to special effects and stuff like that. But wasn't a bad film.
Yeah. I don't know why the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and this is blurred in my head for some reason. because the Nightmare on Elm Street remake kind of bothered me a little bit. But that's a whole nother story. I don't know. I trying to put in my head Monica Keena. Monica Keena. Yes, Cutie Patootie. Yeah, Monica Keena was the main person in this one. Something like Freddie killed her mom. I'm trying to bring it in my head.
Yes.
I apologize. This movie, I love this one. I rank this one very high. I like, kind of like Finch said, the two different franchises meeting together, and the story's good.
Yeah, they told a
The whole
really good
idea-
story.
it's really good. Like the whole Freddy doesn't want to be forgotten because he loses his power. Freddy not being strong enough, Jason killing people for him, Jason, going into Jason being able to be manipulated. You get a solid story with the characters, and growth. Like why does Freddy want to attack us? Who is this Freddy guy? Trying to remember him. The scenes where like Freddy's kind of like getting in people's minds again. Like they're and Kelly Rowland looks pretty dang good. But this movie, like it's just had a good solid story. I would like this is a way to do it. For you have this very low, you have this high in part 4, and you got a very low in part 5. And then and then 6 is like, okay, Jason's a zombie. Okay, that works. And then we get another low in 7. We get a very low in 8. We get a what the F is going on in 9. And then we get, then we get Jason 10, and we just decide to ship him to space, which we're going to talk about in a second. But Freddy versus Jason was just, really good. And it's definitely one of the highest ones. And if you're gonna watch any Jason movie, you gotta watch one. You gotta watch this one. You have to.
It's like it breathed life into the franchise a little bit.
It makes it so fun. Like it knows exactly what it's doing. Like it's campy, but the kills are good. That dude just sitting on the front porch and like just getting killed with his dad. Like it's just good stuff in it. It's fun. And I think I remember well, it was like a few months after my first serious girlfriend broke up with me. So I just wanted to see chicks die. So
Jason out here doing God's work.
doing God's work.
Oh my god!
Jason,
Can we talk about the scene where the main chick like goes to the she goes in the dream world and she goes up to the camp counselor because she's like Jason's drowning. And what does she say? She goes, "Are you coming?" And he's like, "It's not my fault. They spit."
Yep.
Head on her feet.
Sorry, just Freddy. Like in this movie, it reminded me that Freddy was like, for being as funny as he is, he's still a badass too. Like, I know we're talking Jason, but Freddy's great in this movie.
I love Freddy, man.
The movie's just it was just so fun.
Do you guys want to hear a crazy ending that could have happened for that film?
Yes, I do.
Lay it on us, brother.
So there was an ending that almost included Pinhead.
I heard about that.
Yes. So the ending went as far as that Freddy and Jason, there is no victorious winner. They are both very, very wounded and weak. And at this point, they eventually die. And their dying breath, they are dragged to hell. And when they are being dragged, chains are going through their bodies. And they're just kind of like strung up and whatnot. And they're kind of pinned down. And then the camera kind of pans over to Pinhead saying, "Now, gentlemen, what seems to be the problem?"
Your suffering won't be legendary even in hell.
Yep. But the only reason they didn't go with that originally was because New Line Cinema didn't own the character.
That's where we get kicked in our dreams. All these we don't have the rights to do this crap. Why can't we? Well, us nerds just want to be happy. We just want to see our favorite characters kick the crap out of each other.
What we want to see.
Licensing agreements have to exist, and we don't ever get to see this.
And there needs to be a good reason why it's happening. And this did it well. It really did it well. Okay, a little trivia.
Last thing we need a kill count. You gotta keep it.
Kill count.
Thank you, boys. Freddy vs. Jason, 25 kills. So Jason Voorhees kills 21 people in Freddy vs. Jason. 4 kills are performed by Freddy. Jason clearly won the kill count tally battle between him and Freddy because, Freddy was weak.
Right.
People didn't nervous. So Jason.
Oh, and Jason plays dirty in that movie.
Yes, he does.
Remember that one that Freddy was about to get, and then Jason finds it in the cornfield and kills her. He's like, "That one was mine."
Oh, and when in the dream world, she's in the locker and she's just passed out drunk in the
kill her, and
cornfield.
then she just like poofs away. He's like, "That one was mine."
That was mine. That's a good Freddy voice there. And Jason goes on a killing spree as well. He kills 6 people in a matter of minutes. Pretty good one.
I think Jason was screen sniping before Call of Duty was a thing.
This next one I watched just within the last week. I never saw this one before. It's time to talk about Jason X.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. Jason X is good.
I'm gonna
save
my thoughts until after you guys are done talking. I have so much to say about this movie. Probably the most out of all the movies I have something to say about this movie because it's fresh in my head. Just watched it the other day for the first time. Brandon, go ahead, buddy.
So I love Jason X. Jason X hits me right in the nostalgia because it was one of the very first Jason movies I ever saw. That's why Freddy vs. Jason is so close to me also because I saw these as a kid. I was born in 95, so when these were coming out in 2000,
old bitch.
I was still young, so I hold these ones very close. Jason X, it makes no damn sense if you're looking at it in order from 9-10 to Freddy vs. Jason. Makes no sense. But if you look at it as a fun Jason movie, it's got everything you can ask for. I mean, we start off Jason at Camp Crystal Lake, and he's like, we just see badass Kane Hodder chained up. And the guy's like, "Oh, don't take your eyes off him." He's like,
the research facility with Camp Crystal.
Yeah. He's like, "So what's he gonna do? He's chained up." Jason's like, "I'll show you what I'll do."
X gonna give it to you.
But yeah, he gets off and chases that girl down, and then they get frozen, and they're like, how long were they frozen for? 3,000 years?
455 years.
400 years. Jeez.
And 55. Yeah. 455.
455 years. Jason's frozen. And he wakes up on a spaceship. They start the space off in a good spot because his very first kill is probably the best kill in the whole movie. Grabs the girl from the back of her head, raises her face, and just slams it on the counter.
One of the best Jason kills, I will say.
One of my favorites in the movie. And then it just keeps going on, gets better. It just gets better, dude. We get to the next scene and he starts, and they're like, "Oh, well, Jason's obviously back to life. So what are we going to do to stop him?"
Are you high?
Am I high? No, I'm just high on life, buddy.
High on
just having a good time.
High on pot noose.
High on pot noose, having a great time. But they're like, okay, well, obviously Jason's up killing everybody, and what do they do to stop him? They throw out an android with machine guns, and they just have him an all-out battle in his spaceship, dude. It's crazy. And then she's like, "Oh, well, I won. We're good. It's all over." And nope, here comes Jason for round 2. This this guy's got armor now, and he's just going nuts. This is like one of my favorite
Nanotechnology.
movies.
That's what he had, I
Yeah.
think. Nanotechnology.
Yeah,
That was like,
nanotechnology. The nanotechnology starts repairing his body, gives him this crazy metal armor, gets this new insane crazy metal mask. They even upgrade his machete. It's insane. It's one of my favorites.
He looks sick in that part.
He looks
He
so
does.
sick. Was it cheesy as hell? Absolutely. Absolutely was it cheesy. But it was fun. It's one of my favorite Jason movies. Like I said, you got your story movies and you got your Jason movies. Jason X is a good Jason movie.
sure. Mr. Finch. Okay.
Hey, I'm right there with Brandon, man. I really like this movie. Obviously, you heard my notes because I messed them up, but nostalgia, the sleeping bag scene, the liquid nitrogen
I
kill,
love that one.
where they have him in a simulation and he just picks up the girl in a sleeping bag and just starts. He just keeps going to it.
Really, he loves
He's
this.
smashing her against the tree. And then obviously the liquid nitrogen kill is actually like one of my favorite scenes in all the Jason movies. I don't know why. It sticks with me and it's stuck with me for years as still like one of my favorite kills. Um yeah, so this movie's it's pretty badass. The Jason looks sick when the nanites come and take over him and help him get back. The android, she kicked butt too.
Yes, she did.
But obviously she gets her head knocked off too. It's a good movie. Yes. Negatives, the CGI is terrible, man. When they're in that training simulation and that giant like lizard alien thing is there, it looks horrible. When they show outsides,
Can
when they
we
show
talk about that
outside,
one part? Can
they
we
they
talk
show
about that
out.
one part when they got the android and she's like, I want nipples too. Why can't I have nipples? And he's like,
Now
trying to put nipples on her,
just
and they
good
just
writing.
fall off.
That's good quality filmmaking.
That's some good CGI right there.
Wow. The other part is just like when they show the ship. Anytime they show it from the outside, it just
Oh,
looks
yeah.
horrible, god awful. But other than that, I really like this movie.
Dr. Brown.
Oh boy, Dre, Brandon, I'm sorry to break your hearts, but for me,
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'll be honest with you, I like the idea. The idea of going into the future, space. I had hopes for this film when I first heard that, it's in space. I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. And then I was very, 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 very disappointed. There's a couple good scenes, like a couple good kills and stuff like that. The liquid nitrogen, obviously, that'll go down as one of the greatest kills. But for me, this film seemed more, more like a comedy than it was. It didn't take itself very serious, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're at that point where Jason isn't. Where clearly Jason is all about having fun.
I guess, yeah, man.
That's
He
what
just he just wants to swim at the lake with everybody now. But
I mean, we've already blown Jason up. This is a whole new Jason. He's fun. He's cute. He's ready to have a
yeah,
good time.
let's go Barbie, huh?
Yeah, let's go Barbie.
But like I said, with the idea of being in space and in the future, I was optimistic. I was like, oh, this sounds like it could be a good one. Like I said, there are a couple good things about it, but to me, there's just not a whole lot of focus on Jason as there is more focus on the victims, which is fine, I guess, because a lot of the films in the past, is more focused on, Jason's character than it was getting, a protagonist we liked and stuff like that. But again, these characters, they never make a return. They're just one-offs, not all of them die. but to me, it was just more of a goof. It didn't, it just didn't take it serious enough. Or, I guess I wasn't really expecting something too serious, but I felt there was more of a comedic relief to it than there was a comedic relief to it than there was, a serious slasher film. But it's, I rank it above some other films. I'll say that, but yeah, man, it had potential, but for me, I just think it didn't take itself serious. Mr. Peters, what are your thoughts on Jason X?
I would have liked to have sat in that writer's room
Yeah.
and hear this pitch for this movie. I believe my answer would have went something like this. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points. You will not make this movie, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Mrs. Slippy gave me the idea.
Doc Brown, the part of the story that I don't like is that the movie starts off interesting with Jason in chains, and then it quickly looks like I'm watching a made-for-TV movie on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm flipping through the channels, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, what's this?" It totally looks like early 2000s sci-fi movie. The CGI is atrocious.
Yep.
It makes the CW CGI look like freaking MCU Infinity War type thing. Like even some then it was rough there. And sometimes I don't know. I'm trying to think of movies with really great CGI, and my mind's is turned.
How does it hold up against the Flash?
Lord! And the thing I love about the Flash is when the director's like, "Well, that's the perspective of Barry Allen." No, dude. Listen, you made an amazing movie with it. Amazing movie. But the point of the matter is, you overwork your sci-fi, you overwork your animators, your creative minded people, and then you produce crap, and you don't care because you get the check, and these people do all the work for you. And that's the whole point of the writer's strike. So, like, screw you guys, and all those animators that did Spider-Man Across the Universe, like, amazing work, Academy Award winning animation.
Absolutely.
They work so freaking hard. They get no damn respect. And if those animators worked 20 minutes, they would have made Jason X look like freaking, Citizen King, whatever.
Right.
It's okay. The concept of sending Jason into space, like, it could work if you wrote it in a capacity of like Alien.
Okay.
Where we thought Jason was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's going to be worth money. Okay. And Jason wakes up and we see him, like, he's just hunting people. That could work. Like, it could work. But we get a freaking scene where, like, some chick is trying to get extra credit and she's riding her professor and she's pinching him with a freaking grab claw.
Yep.
What the hell is this movie? What? And this movie was tame with sexual things. I didn't have to fast forward too much. And what the hell is that? And then, oh my gosh! And then, like, all the people, like, want to have sex with each other. I get it, whatever. That's what Jason movies are. But, like, it's so stupid. And then, like, when the professor dude calls that one dude to try, like, on the black market to try to make money, that dude looks high as F. Like he just rolled out of that. Like, they found a homeless person to do the job, and, like, he just looks totally out of it. It's so freaking stupid. The CGI is stupid. Like, all these mercenaries that want to hunt Jason on the ship, that could have been like that. Like, that was a cool thing. the only thing that was kind of interesting in this is Jason did look cool with the with the nanite.
Uber Jason.
Like that was cool. Like Uber Jason, that was really cool. I'll give you that,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon. And I'll give you that, guys. That. But the whole time I watched this movie, I'm like, okay, Jason's hunting them. Why aren't they using this freaking android to fight him? Like the whole time, and then we finally get it, and it's like Alice in Resident Evil, and she's like,
That was
That's a great comparison. I'm not going I never thought of it that way. That's pretty cool.
well, I'm a freaking genius. So
We know.
but it's just I mean if you're gonna make a Jason movie, you don't sit in the writer's room like a goon. You get your butt out there and you write something that is like Freddy versus
And
Jason.
you make a successful Jason Voorhees movie.
Yeah. I
I think it's time for recess.
it's I well, with all due respect, there are people that really like it. It's nostalgic to them. It's goofy and stuff. But like, I thank God for Freddy versus Jason just a year later because this was just so out there, and it's I don't know. It didn't work.
That was the issue too, though, because originally in the film order release, the next film after the Final Friday was supposed to be a Freddy vs. Jason film. And I could be wrong, but I think the script and the writing for this film was like less than a year. So that's why to me the story it's not serious. It's it makes a mockery of itself. There's cool scenes here and there, but I mean, yeah, it never takes itself serious. There are cool parts, but
Sure.
I could be wrong. But I like the reason this film even came out was because Freddy vs. Jason was going through so many issues,
so many delays.
Yes.
Wes Craven did a new Nightmare.
Yep,
and that took you a little bit, and then just trying to do the rights and
yep. It was just so many issues, and then at that point, Friday the 13th fangoers were like, "When are we getting another film?" So then they just gave us this.
yeah, absolutely. It just I don't know. It was rough. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is the final one.
Finale.
This is it. 6 years later. 6 years later, we get a remake / reboot of Friday the 13th. And February 13th, 2009, Valentine's Day weekend. Valentine's Day weekend is a great weekend for horror movies. It was Friday the 13th, like absolute great marketing there. This stars, Jared Padalecki,
Palecki, right?
who, in my opinion, in 2009, if you would have just threw him a Nightwing costume, he would have been definitive. Jared was always my definitive Nightwing, but now he's too old. But that's talk for the BP and the Fish podcast. This movie jam packed like all the first three movies into one movie. Like you get the first movie in just a couple minutes, boom, 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 done. You get part 2 as most of your movie, and then you get part 3. He gets the mask in the attic. Like, let's talk more about this movie. So Brandon, go the remake. What your thoughts on this?
No, I really love this one. This one was great. Like they managed to get the first 3 movies condensed into a really great startup for the movie. It was the first Jason movie to set place in modern times. Like at the time of this movie, this was set in modern times.
Yep.
This was just really good. I love it. I mean, I love the cast. They stay true with the comedy. Jason was known for its comedy. It was known for its gore. Like they kept that and they kept it tame. Like they did a good mix. It had a good story. Had had a lot of violence, had some comedy. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites.
Anything else? Anything that you think wasn't good?
Honestly, not really. I don't think there was much bad for this movie. I mean, Jason looked really good. Like I said, the story was fun. I mean, it, I liked it. Like I do wish this movie got a sequel. I really do wish this movie had gotten a sequel. Like they set it up for a pretty good story.
My man. Um, how do you feel like how Jason looked?
I thought he looked good. I mean, like
Yeah.
he when they showed him before he got the hockey mask, he was scary. It was one of the first times we actually felt scared to see Jason a little bit.
Dude, let's just call it like it is. Shout out to Derek Mears, or however you
Amen.
pronounce it. Dude, okay. Other than just back when the first films came out, it wasn't about menacing looks. It was just, the story of, a serial killer. But then, roll it into 2009. We need a menacing dude. This dude scared the crap out of me when I seen this.
Yeah, he did a
This
great
dude
job.
is massive. He's 6'5". He is, whoa, amazing.
So Derek has played. Derek was like in the Wild Wild West. He played like a metalhead. He's mostly a stunt guy. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. He's been in Hills of Eyes 2. He's known for Resident Evil. Like played nothing. He played in movie Predator. He played a Predator. Jason Voorhees, of course. Um, what else?
So he's a big scary guy, pretty much.
Big scary guy.
Most of the time.
The funny thing is, though, they almost didn't cast him because in reality, he is a very nice dude. Everyone who spoke about him, like writers and producers and directors, say nothing but great things about him. So they almost didn't cast him because of how nice he is.
Well, here's something else. So, did any of you watch 2019's Swamp Thing?
I have not.
Derek played Swamp Thing.
I do see that right here. So
Okay.
Freaking amazing.
chef's kiss.
Chef Kiss. There's talk that he might come back. I pray to God. I sometimes I confuse Derek with Doug Jones. I don't know why, but Doug Jones has played like
From Hellboy.
From Hellboy,
Yeah.
Abe Sapien. Doug's played a lot of monsters, but Derek is that menacing, that great size. Finch, go ahead. What do you think about this movie, bro?
I really like this movie. Basically, what you said, those are my notes. Is retells the first 3 chapters better. Obviously, it's updated, so the kills and everything. The video quality looks better. We get my girl Danielle Panabaker. I love that girl.
Killer for us,
right? Well, I loved her ever since like Sky High. So,
my man.
But Jared Padalecki, just it's a good movie. That my biggest negative, and I'm pretty sure Bryan was waiting to hear this, is he kidnaps the dude's sister and just holds her. Jason doesn't do that.
Thank
Jason
you.
kills.
They made it like that that she reminded him of his mom.
It's Pam. Yeah.
That's
what
how they
were
were
going
running.
with. Yeah. I don't buy it.
That part just don't work for me. But I mean, she survived, and that was cool.
I like the take on that though, because if you remember right, in part 2, there's a callback. He has a shrine. I mean, it's not a direct callback to that part 2 film, but he has a shrine of Pamela. We don't see that shrine, so obviously this time he's protective of her. He's like, oh, hey, mom's back. I gotta protect her. I can't let her leave.
He's still trying, kind of, right? Like, because he had the kids like go into like this like hole in the wall or something, and his mom's head is right there, right?
That's true. You are right. If her head falls in the bathtub, yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that nasty bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He did some bathing in there.
that whole trailer like that whole trailer is worse than the sweater from part 2. That whole trailer, like, ugh. But yeah, anything else there, Finch?
No, I mean, like Brandon said, I think a sequel would be cool. Obviously, I think at the end of this, we're gonna say what we want for the future, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
So,
Okay, so yeah, I'll get into that later, but yeah.
Trey.
Man, this film I will probably talk the most about because it is great. You know,
yeah.
it's a great.
Work early tomorrow.
Yep,
Work
yep. It's a great, call it what you will, reboot, requel. There's a lot of legality issues of what to call it. But I think it was a great film. We get a menacing dude playing Jason Voorhees, and I mean, it's horrifying. I mean, this dude is a brute. We don't see him just, stalking from the shadows and walking casually to get his victims. This dude is on a mission. I mean, he's full sprinting.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
sprinting in
Oh,
this
dude, I
film.
loved it. I loved it.
Dude was like, yeah, we did all the walking in the
Dude,
old movies. We're running.
he has been cross country training for years. He is on it. But it's just great, and it's great to me. But I like the spin that they take in this film. Like I said, in the old films, we really just see Jason pop up from time to time, kind of that supernatural ability type deal of, like, popping up here and there, and just casually walking to get his victims. In this film, we get tunnel systems.
Yeah, they
It
show how he
explains
gets to
where.
them.
Yeah, it's amazing. It makes sense. It's like, we in today's time, we can't just have them just pop up around the corner. We got to do something.
That's
And
very Leatherface or
yeah,
Texas
yeah,
Chainsaw.
like the
Yeah.
whole basement and tunnels connected to the gas station, all that. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's great. You see these tunnel systems throughout the whole campgrounds. So now there's not just, oh, I'm here. I just pop up out of nowhere. Great film. I really have no issues with it. The casting for Jason Voorhees was fantastic. Now there are certain things I wish they would have done when they were, making this reboot, requel, whatever. Quentin Tarantino, there was a rumor that he was going to take the director's chair, and then he kind of shut it down. He was like, no, it's not happening, guys. Wish that would have happened. Tommy Jarvis was set to make a return. It was in script, and then they scrapped it. Why? We need that return. Get Corey Feldman in there, man. But I mean, had so much. I mean, it didn't have potential. It was a great film, in my opinion. There are a little bit nitpicks here and there, but other than that, I thought it was a great film. No complaints from me. None that I can think of off the top of my head, anyways. I just thought it was great.
This movie, in my opinion, is freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was done so well. Just to be able to take those 3 movies that some of us considered kind of boring,
Mm-hmm.
More exactly.
dragged out. Like, Brandon said, the first one just doesn't hold up.
Yep.
I think Finch say that too. I think, like,
I said part 2 was super boring.
yeah, part 2 is super boring. Like, this takes all of that and it's just like, okay, what's good about this movie? Okay, take that. What's good about this one? Take that.
Yeah.
Boom. Keeping the girl, like, chained up. I didn't think that was really Jason. I mean, even if it resembled his mom, it seemed a little off, because she was gone for quite some time. Like, what was he feeding her? We never saw that too. Like, what was he feeding her? Like,
Rats, man.
survived? I
There were
guess
rats in
so.
the tunnels.
I guess so.
I mean, there's a lake, maybe fish.
Yep. He's a good fisherman, I suppose.
But Jason was faster. He was scarier. I love the scene where he's just standing on the house and he's just like,
yeah, when the power's cut out. Oh, dude,
come out.
great
You want
scene.
to come out? You sure about that?
Yep.
You sure? You know,
You sure about that?
Sure about that?
like I love the dickwad boyfriend guy that like he wants to show off because he's such a narcissist.
Yeah.
Like, look at the house, we got all this money, but I don't want you to touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch it.
You know, you have that dude that just wants to smoke pot and get high. It took all the tropes of sex, drugs, rock and roll, put them in there. I don't understand why the heck this movie didn't get a sequel.
Exactly.
It was it was exactly the direction it needed to happen. Bring in Tommy Jarvis, Corey Feldman. Like, what the heck happened? And I don't have any, like, I don't see
So from what
why
I've
nothing happened. I guess it was probably a rights issue.
so from what I've read, the original writer for the whole franchise, Victor Miller, he was upset because this movie, when
Looks
they
original.
made it, I don't know if it was a reboot or a requel, but either way, the studios figured out a way to either deem it a reboot or a requel, making him less money, the writer. So he didn't get as much money as he would have liked to. When that happened, he immediately filed lawsuit because he wanted more money. He said, "This is my character. This is my franchise. I want that money." And obviously, you know how Hollywood goes. Like, hey, man,
Yeah.
you did write a great franchise. You did write a great character, but we found a loophole. We're sorry we're doing that to you. But that's when everything derailed. As soon as that lawsuit was made, and it's still, I don't know if it's still ongoing, but it's still an ongoing issue of
Well,
the future.
yeah. I mean, there's this talk of Crystal Lake show. I don't know what's going on with it.
Oh, is that on Peacock?
Yeah.
Might be.
And there's been
Well, not
They got-
yet.
a poster for it.
They got A24 going to be working on it. I think that's a good choice. They're doing great things in the world.
Internet movie database.
You know, one of the things I didn't like about this movie though was, I mean, you already talked about like all the stereotypes, but like the black dude, bro, like he's just he did. I don't know, man. I don't know why they did that dude like that. So
He's like, yeah, I want to be a big time music producer. She's like, oh, sorry, I don't like rap music. Why do I got to do rap?
Why can't I be a country singer? Yeah.
He's like, why can't I be a country singer? She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you're right, I am a rapper.
I mean, like, there's some funny little parts to that, but it's like they also did my boy. Like, I thought when the movie started that he was with one of those girls because there's like 3 girls and then like 4 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or something like that. So I thought one of them females was his girl, and turns out, nah, dude's over here about to jerk it to to like a little magazine.
It's like an old. It's not even like a current. It's like a
Like,
Good Housekeeping or something. Yeah.
Like, bro, you could have found something.
It looks like a J.C. Penney's catalog or something.
Yeah, he's like, please be lingerie.
Oh, that sweater's tight enough. We're good.
See, what I also like about this film too, though, is we get more of a development of Jason as a slasher. It's not just popping out of corners. It's not. I mean, he's using tactics. He's got bear traps at the opening scene. He's using pulley systems that hang a sleeping bag over a campfire. Yeah, dude, that was nuts.
I like that too. I like
the tunnel system. There's so many more I can think of. Your boy Dre, when he gets caught down at the edge of the lake, he's using him as bait. He's like, hey, come get your friend. Come, nothing's gonna happen. I promise you. You can bring him back in.
Jason was so smart in this.
Mm-hmm.
This one is really, really great.
Yep.
So yeah. So
I mean, we talked about it yesterday though, with the first couple movies before we get to the supernatural element. And I think this is something that, like, obviously, because I watched this in the order of just like keep watching all of them. Mm-hmm. So the way it ended, where he just dies, like he gets choked out, basically, right?
Yep.
I was a little underwhelmed, but you guys pointed out all that stuff yesterday about, that he's still human. And you're pointing it out right now too, that like, this is a human Jason. So it's like, it makes it more satisfying, having this discussion, because when I saw it, I'm like, he ain't dead. He ain't dead. You know what I mean? He got choked out of stuff with the chain, fucked through the little like grinder thing. But
the nice element to that though is, as he died, he was human, but what did they do when they discarded his body? They put him right back in the water. There is something that I will stand by this.
Okay.
Through every film, I will stand by this. There is something about this lake that needs to be explored. There needs to be given more of a story of Camp Crystal Lake, other than just put him in the water, he comes back.
It's the holy water, buddy. He's doing God's work.
He's doing God's work. Maybe that is what is supposed to be explored in the Crystal Lake series that they're supposed to be making, right?
Hopefully. Hopefully.
I'm looking on Internet Movie Database. It just has Adrienne King, the first final girl from the movies. She's somewhat attached to it. It's got a bunch of producers, but nothing.
Internet Movie Database, bro. Just say IMDb, bro. Come on.
IMDb. All right. So, rankings. And then we'll say about what we want for the future. And then we will go to bed. Okay. So, Tyler, unfortunately, didn't get to watch a whole lot of the movies. But he did rank the remake as the best one he did see. He ranked it high. So, he really liked that one.
This is the one I recommend to people that haven't seen Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, I mean it's a great one. James, who couldn't join us due to technical difficulties. James, here's James' top 12 right here. So number 12 is Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 11 is Part 7, The New Blood. Number 10 is Part 3. Ooh. Number 9 is Jason Goes to Hell. I think James is a big Evil Dead fan, so that's probably why he ranks it a little bit higher.
I gotcha.
He put Part 5 as number 8. That blew my mind. Yeah, whatever. Well, it's probably because there's some scenes in there that Freddy versus Jason was his number 7, which kind of surprised me because James really likes Freddy as well. Number 6 was Friday the 13th, original one. Part 6 was his number 5, where Jason Lives. His number 4 was Jason X. His number 3 was The Final Chapter, Part 4. His number 2 was Friday the 13th, Part 2. And his number 1 was the remake. All right. Brandon's top 12.
I'm going to dog on you so hard on your number 1, homie.
Number 12 was Friday the 13th original. Number 11 was Part 5. So he's on the right track there. Part 10, number 10 was Jason Goes to Hell. Still on the right track. I'm proud of you. Number 9 was Part 7. Number 8 on the list was Part 3. Number 7 was Part 2. Number 6 was Part 6. Number 5 was Part 4, The Final Chapter. Number 4, his 4 on the list was Jason Takes Manhattan. His number 3 was Jason X.
Okay.
Number 2 was Freddy versus Jason. And his number 1, just like James, was the remake.
All right, I won't dog you on your number 1, but your number 3 was Jason X. Really? Yeah. Jason X at number 3?
Yeah, because here's why. Why. Let me defend mine. So my
no defending. Yeah. I would allow to defend mine. Brian, on to the next one.
Hear me out. When I think of Friday the 13th,
if it was your number 1, you'd have to definitely defend it.
That one has to be number one. Just based off the fact that it's what we think Jason is. Jason as a whole. But the rest of my top five, I picked them because when we think Friday the 13th, we think Jason. We want the fun. We want the gore. We don't pick up a Jason movie for the freaking plot. We pick up a Jason movie because we want to have a good time, and that's why Freddy versus Jason, Jason X, and Jason Takes Manhattan are my 2, 3, and 4 spots.
Okay.
Much
All
to
right.
learn, young grasshopper. Much to learn.
All right. Next list I got was Trey's. Trey has a little bit more wisdom in his list. Um,
Oh, okay.
you know, Trey is I found that Trey is a little bit like minded as to me, in some cases. Okay, so Trey had his number 12 on the list was Part 5, New Beginning. His number 11 was Jason Goes to Hell. Number 10 was Jason X. Number 9 was original Friday the 13th. Number 8 was Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 7 was Part 7. Number 6 was Freddy versus Jason. Number 5 was Part 2. Number 4 was Part 3. Number 3 was Jason Lives, Part 6. His number 2 was this remake. And his number 1 was the final chapter, Part 4. Finch's list, number 12. Number 12 was Part 2. He found it very boring. He hated it.
He said, "Get that potato sack off his head.
Get it out of there." His number 11 was Jason Goes to Hell. Number 10 was Jason Takes Manhattan. His number 9 was Part 7, the forgotten one. His number 8 was Part 5. I can't believe that he put Part 5 higher than Part 2, but whatever.
He got him mixed up. He got him mixed up in his defense, so
it's fair. It's fair.
Those ones were not as mixed up. Like I said, it's just boring.
It's okay.
He didn't like 2, man.
Okay.
You guys did kind of sway me a little bit, so I would say that's what this podcast is for, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Right. I love you guys. His number 7 on his list was the original Friday the 13th. Number 6 was Part 6, Jason Lives. Number 5 was Jason X. Don't give it to you. Number 4 was Freddy versus Jason. His number 3 was Part 3. His number 2 was the final chapter. His number 1 was a reboot.
There you go. Our top 5 was almost very similar.
For your fearless leader, the worst of the worst was Part 5. F that movie. Number 11 was Jason Goes to Hell. What the hell was that movie? It's just...
It was the final Friday.
So bad. Number 10, I put Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 9, I put Part 7. I think I worried Jason Takes Manhattan so low because, it's false advertising. Number 9, I put Part 7. Number 8, I put Part 2. Number 7, I put Jason X. And I probably want to flip those. I probably. Number 6, I put the original Friday the 13th. Number 5, I put Part 3. Number 4, I put Freddy versus Jason. Number 3, and I might flip these after all we talked, but my number 3 was the remake. My number 2 was the final chapter, and my number 1 was Jason Lives. With that, so the official ranking of Gravely Amusing's official ranking of Friday the 13th movies, some of them were ties. Some of them were, this is the answer. like this is the best. This is the worst. Whatever. And some of them based on other votes and where people had ranking on things, I had to move stuff around because I had empty slots. So this is kind of our official ranking. So we, with 2 votes out of I guess 5 people, 2 out of 5. We it had the most votes. Part 5 is the worst. So listeners, Part 5 is the worst. Don't watch that movie; it's trash. Jason
No
Goes
Jason.
to Hell. There's no Jason in that. I mean,
Yep.
come on. Jason Goes to Hell was number 11. It had 3 votes of that in the 11th spot. It's wild. Number 10, Jason Takes Manhattan with 2 votes. Part 9 was Part 7 with 3 votes. Number 8 was Part 2. This is kind of where people this is kind of in the middle. People had things everywhere. Number 7, Jason X. Number 6 was a tie.
Ooh.
But the original is going to get the win. Number 6 was tied with Part 6. So the number 6 list, Part 6, and the original each got 2 votes, but the original has to win because of how people had votes on other answers. Part 5, or number 5 on the list, Part 3. Top 4 with 2 votes favors Jason, number 4. With some votes in just a different order, Part 6 is number 3. Number 2 is the final chapter with 2 votes on that one. And the reboots with 3 votes out of 5 is number 1. So the reboot's definitely the best one to watch. So
my top 2 are the top 4. I'm happy.
I had 3 of mine in the top 4.
Yeah, I'm very confident with those top 4 for sure. I think those really are the best ones. All right. So Brandon, what would you like for the future of Friday the 13th, my man?
I mean, I just want to see some more Jason. I just want him to get some love. I really like what they did with the reboots of Michael Myers. I think that'd be cool if they did something like that with Jason.
Good. Is there anything that you're worried that might happen? Anything you don't want to see?
I mean, the way movies are nowadays, I mean, I don't think we could go bad with Jason. I mean, if we get a good story written, we obviously got the technology to make some really good gory scenes. I think it can be good, especially if A24 is really working on the new Jason show. I have faith.
Well, I didn't know. I thought Peacock or NBC was going to work on it. I think
So
A24 was going to pick up Halloween.
working rumors that Peacock got A24 to work on it.
So kind of like a partnership.
Kinda, yeah.
So we
Because
might
like when you see posters for it, it's all A24.
we might be in for something good there. Finch, what do you want? And what do you don't want?
Well, I mean, Trey got me interested. Like, I don't remember anything about this Elias guy. So Trey got me really thinking about this guy.
I didn't know what
Was
about
it novels and comic
Yeah.
books?
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious about this dude. I definitely still want that. We've joked around this, but I want like Freddy versus Jason versus Michael. I would love to see that, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Or put a Pinhead in it, put Chucky in it. You know, give us a 3-way match. You know what I mean? So I want that. Eventually, I want. Dude, I had it. I'm drawing a blank right now. But okay, so
We're tired.
I don't want to go more like prequel route. I want like a remake, but like obviously better kills. I don't need to see a retell. Like, I mean, if they're gonna kind of redo it and all together, I don't need to know like tons of backstory. Like, just jump into it and be like, do use the opening credits like some movies have where they tell the backstory. And if you want to reference some of the older films, reference it. Like, do a continuation, kind of like how Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre has, where they bring back these legacy characters. So I'm hoping we would get a Tommy Jarvis, and just I don't know. I just want a better film.
I don't remember which one it was, but like
Yeah.
they started one of them where they like did a campfire storytelling and they did like killing shots and whatnot, that'd be good for an opening on a newer movie. Like, tell us all we need to know right there. Telling a camp story, and then we just jump into it. Like,
Yeah, like show some newspaper clippings, like
yeah,
a masked hockey guy kills teens.
yeah, like they did on
Yeah.
Wrong Turn, where they had
Yeah.
all those like newspaper reels. That'd be cool.
Anything else, Finch?
Nah, I'm ready.
My man. Trey.
First and foremost, it sounds like the legal issues are coming to an end. I hope they do. I hope the legality of this, I hope it's done. It's garbage. This is the whole reason we never got a sequel to the 2009 remake or reboot, whatever you want to call it. That is the sole reason why we never got a sequel. Because, the writer wanted, I get it. He wants his credit. But man, you have ruined it for so many diehard fans of this franchise. It needs to stop. Bring it back. It needs to stop. I'm optimistic for this. I'm optimistic for this Crystal Lake series. Now, having said that, I'm hoping we kind of get that backstory of, hopefully, my hopes for this series is that it's more of a story about Pamela and Elias and what made them go on the paths that they've chosen of violence, or why is Elias evil? Is he part of a cult or something like that? There's a supernatural abilities and all that stuff to Jason. Like, is he got some occultist giving him powers type deal? And hopefully they give us a little bit of backstory about the lake. In the first film, Crystal Lake is, they've been trying to reopen it so many times, but there's like bad water, fires, mysterious fires and stuff like that. Hopefully we get kind of like a backstory of what makes, Crystal Lake supernatural, if it is supernatural. Now, having said that, I did just find out that with this reboot of this series, that it does sound like there are works that they are in the works of doing another Friday the 13th reboot. However, directors and writers have kind of been to say that, yeah, we want to reboot it, but we don't want to, get caught up in the legal system issues of it. So I hope they get something to go through, and I hope it's nothing like, oh, hey, it's Friday the 13th, but it's not Jason. I don't want another part 5. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're just, if anything, you're going to make those fans very, very upset. And at that point, it's like, don't even try and bring it back. But I hope we get a movie. It sounds like they're talking about getting a movie back. Let's get Tommy Jarvis back in there, man. Let's get that character back in there. If they do make a movie, let's have him involved. Let's have him give us the camp story, and then people say he's crazy. No, it actually happened, and it's happening again. Let's make it happen. But ultimately, I just want the legal issues with this franchise to be done and over with. That way we can get films, we can get shows. And honestly, I wouldn't mind another video game. I don't know if you guys have ever played the Friday the 13th game. That game, in my opinion, was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved it. It breaks my heart that due to these legal issues and all that the plug is being pulled on this game. I think the last time it's available to play multiplayer wise is the year of 2024. So after that, it's done. So, but
all I'm saying is, I want the people to make Mortal Kombat to make a scary fighter game like they've been talking about. They keep teasing us by putting Freddy Krueger and Jason and Leatherface in
like
the
the
game.
DLC packs they did before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
boy.
give us the whole game with
that'd
it.
be cool.
Just give us the whole game. Stop
Just
teasing.
like a slasher fighting game, like or
Yeah,
like horror
go.
combat. Do.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Okay, so this is what I would do. Just briefly, what I would do. I would have Jason be a bully kid in school, and his best friend is Tommy Jarvis. And they go to school together, and Jason's constantly bullied. Jason has troubled parents. His dad's a wacko. Like, Tommy's his only friend. And they go to camp one summer, and Jason drowns. And the whole entire camp, they covered it up. And they, like, it never happened. This kid never drowned, nothing. Like, this never happened. And years pass. That's like your prequel type thing.
Yep.
Years pass. Someone's killing someone at camp, and Tommy is brought back, and he doesn't really know what's happening. He doesn't, like, they want to think that the mom's doing the killing, like, they want to think that, but it's really Jason. And there's this whole mystery of what really happened, and it's going to be slowly revealed that that was Tommy's best friend. Like, this is what happened, and give that emotional attachment that his buddy didn't die. His buddy's now a killer. That there's this emotional attachment. Tommy's, your hero. Like, I want my friend back because he was my best friend. And we end that bullying aspect of Jason. We get that crazy parents. We get that speculation that maybe Pam is doing this killings. Maybe her and Jason are doing it. Whatever. Keep it with the camp, but I like that mystery. I want that personal vibe a bit, and it to be kind of revealed slowly of what's happening. And I think you have something really cool. And keep Tommy as your final boy. I think it could be very I think I like stories with I like stories where something's changed in somebody, and, like, I mean, you don't necessarily have to make Jason be sympathetic, and I guess that's what I'm doing. But I think he was kind of all sympathetic all along. Like, this kid was born deformed. Like, he didn't ask to be that. He was always picked on. He died. No one cared about him. So I think you could go somewhere there. Or if you don't go that route, just take the reboot that they did and do a continuation and add Jarvis in it. So that's what I would want.
Now, Brian, real quick. Now, I know you talked about, like, how the part 4.
Okay. Yes, I did.
But how you said it would have been cool if Elias had Jason as his son, well, obviously his son, and then Tommy as his son. That'd be a unique way to connect them in, like, a future film as well. Like, they were like half brothers, kind of like the half sister from.
I would have put that in there too.
There you go.
And that's kind of why Elias kind of kept them together. I mean, there's so much ways you can go with it, but just don't do Jason and 10 again.
Yeah.
So this ends part 2 of our Friday the 13th podcast. So we did it, boys.
All right.
So part 1 was going to drop at 6 a.m. on Friday the 13th, and you would have already listened to it by then. Part 2 dropping at 1 p.m. there. You can find Gravely Amusing on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at Gravely Amusing, TikTok at Gravely Amusing, X at Gravely_Amusing. You can email me anytime at gravely_amusing@gmail.com. You can find us, of course, how you're listening to this podcast now. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and follow us if you like us. Tell your friends. We appreciate it. And you can find BP and the Finch coming to your ears on October 20th in about a week.
BP and the Finch.
And Trey and Brandon are definitely going to be on that for Ducks and Doc Brown. And I hope you liked our ranking. I hope you had a lot of fun here. We had a lot of fun here, even though we're getting a little tired. But but I hope this episode thrilled you. I hope it horrified you. If nothing else, I hope it left you gravely amused. Good night, everybody.